Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on tonight's show, I'm pleased to have the redshirt freshman quarterback, for UNH, a part of the University of New Haven, the Chargers, Brady Lafferty, former Southington, Connecticut high school player, and now he's back on the podcast. Brady, great to be able to have you back on here.
Of course, thank you for having me again.
Now before we start talking about yourself, I looked at your bio as far as UNH. I did not know your grandfather played for the Broncos.
Yeah, he had a short little stint with them back in the 60s. He played a middle linebacker for him. So he also coached, played at Kent State and coached at Brown. So,
Really?
Good history there.
And then also too, I found out from your head coach, who I had on here a couple weeks ago, that your mom was a fantastic basketball player. You did not tell me that.
It must have slipped because she was a three-sport athlete over at UNH. She played basketball in the winter, softball, and then she played tennis as well. Because she told me, this is actually an interesting story. She said when Title IX was coming up back then, they needed to fill spots for a tennis team. So the basketball coach kind of said, "Hey, do you guys want to play tennis?" And her and her friends from the team went over and just took a crack at tennis. So she was busy all year round at New Haven.
So that explains where you got the athletic ability when you were doing all your magic with Southington, right?
Yeah.
Right? Nothing from your dad.
My dad was a good athlete, but my mom was we always make jokes, my mom being like the athlete of the family.
She could probably beat everybody in a round of horse, right?
Round of horse and definitely a round of golf too. Yeah, she's been playing with her a lot too with the summer of golf. I'm good at that too.
She's a great golfer as well.
Yeah, great golfer. Yeah.
That's dangerous. Great golf, especially. I mean, I can't. I'm terrible at golf. I can barely drive.
Same. It's embarrassing when I play with her. She whips my, kicks my butt.
I bet. But Brady, I appreciate you coming on. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's been a while since we've been able to, I've tried to catch up with you a little bit here and there, but I know you're busy. Before we get into obviously last season, just talk to me about kind of, how you've been, what have you been up to over the last, year and a half since the last time I spoke to you?
Yeah, so basically just, putting my head down and grinding all throughout for academics and for sports and everything. It's a busy life as a student athlete, and camp hit, last August and just continued work. I've stayed off social media a lot too. I've just been, focusing on, football, school.
Now, it's when you mentioned staying off the social media side, that's pretty rare, especially for our, my generation and also your generation, because your generation's more of the, premier social media with Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, the whole nine. Do you feel like both as a student and an athlete staying off the social media benefited you because it allowed your mind to be free and not have all that, stuff to cloud it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just not being worried about that it wasn't going into it. Yeah, I'm gonna stay off it. It kind of just happened just because you generally don't have a lot of free time, or when you do have the free time, you kind of just want to spend it with your close ones and stuff like that. So it just kind of just got a time management. That's another big thing I learned freshman year of college. I got to be good at managing your time.
And time management is huge. Now, was it more difficult as while you were playing, or rather being on the team your first year because you redshirted, or was it the academic side? Because that's also a huge jump as well from high school to college.
Definitely. So, in college, in high school, I definitely wasn't the best, best at managing my time. And, in high school, when college comes, it kind of hits you like a brick wall. You got to be either, got to adjust to it fast, or you're not going to, last too long at the college level. And, in college, I was getting first semester, I was getting, essays like every week, and off the top of it, lifting in the morning before classes, having meetings throughout the day with school, and then going to practice for 2.5 hours. You're going to got to find time to, squeeze in a couple hours for homework. So.
No, it's huge to be able to go through that, and you really kind of get an eye-opening experience, especially like you said, lifting in the morning, meetings on top of classes, mixed in, and then you've got practice. And your head coach, who I have so much respect for, demands obviously the best out of everybody.
Yep.
and really kind of test, like, do you love football, but also do you love school? I feel like. What says you?
Yeah, one of his favorite sayings is one affects 100. So it's one player, slacking off in the class, he's gonna call you out on it and make sure you get it done. So he's always checking up with the players. He's very hands-on as a coach, which I very much appreciate. He always knows what your grades are. They always do grade checks every Monday. So we're always in there with film, and after that going through grades. So he's honest about that, so we don't fall off, which is really nice.
Now, with the season being as it was, you guys were able to beat not only a team that beat a Division 1 team, Southern defeating Central, and then you guys being able to do your thing. I'm pretty sure that was at UNH, correct?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So, and I mentioned this to your head coach when he was on here. Obviously there was a lot of hype as far as the team Southern. A lot of people were going crazy, beat Central the whole nine. And I asked, your head coach as far as like, what do you like? Was there any sort of, uh, you know, were people kind of thinking like, oh, maybe, a lot of helium, I guess, a lot of, like, okay, well, like what's going to happen in this game? And I
Mhm.
felt like you guys just handled it like normal business. You guys took care of them.
Definitely coming after week two, we lost to Bowie that week, so we definitely need to prove ourselves again that week against Southern, and it's a huge rivalry game. It's just like Southington and Cheshire. I remember seeing a few players on Cheshire that are on Southern right now, so it's just sticking with that rivalry again. So, but it's not going on 12 years, 13 that we've beaten them straight. So we got 2 games against them this year, so it should be interesting.
Now, when was it, as far as your decision that you wanted to redshirt?
So it was kind of going into camp. I was getting reps, and then with 140 players, like we split the team in half the first few practices, so everyone got a lot of reps, and then halfway, 5 practices in, we went to switch to full team practices, and it wasn't really Coach B came up to me and asked me if I was okay with redshirting, and I was definitely okay with it because it's I definitely feel kids in my class kind of got a little bit worse than everyone else because we're coming into college as a freshman with people who were graduated 2 years ago and get an extra year of eligibility because of COVID that we don't. So it was good to get going to college, get first year of experience, and then getting 4 years next after that because I'm competing with 2 other seniors ahead of me with the 6 year we got coming back. So it was good that we were all in the same years of eligibility, me and these 2 other seniors. So it was good that I got an extra year after that. So
Yeah,
definitely.
because your class was a part of the year of which missing a season because of COVID. So
Yep.
not only were you behind the eight ball, not being able to show your talents or just be able to finish off your high school career, you were then going into college already not having the reps, which, when I've had you on here, we were talking about repetitions. I know, Coach Drury is a preacher of that as far as making sure everything's a find oil machine at Southington. And, proof is in the pudding, with the talent there. But, as far as kind of redshirting, I feel like for him to come up to you and give you the honest truth and for you to buy into that and not, I feel like the way you handled it, a lot of people, I don't know, I can't speak for other people, but everybody handles things differently. And it
Mhm.
sounds like you really had a full picture of what he was trying to tell you by saying, hey, Brady, redshirting may be a good idea. What says
Yeah.
you?
So coming into the year, I definitely wasn't, expecting to start. We coming in as a freshman, especially New Haven, it's very difficult to, get on the field as a freshman.
Mhm.
But it was also just, being mentally ready and knowing the playbooks. That's a lot of other things that go into, who they're gonna put on the field. Because if you're more talented than someone, but they know the playbook more than you, they're gonna get on the field way quicker than you will. So it's just being mentally ready and physically ready to be put on the field. I feel like too, and that giving me the extra, I feel like definitely helped.
What was the biggest, either on the field or off the field, that you feel like being able to kind of sit back and watch the game? Because you were able to go to the games, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I dressed up for him too. I just wasn't able to. I dressed up for home games and wasn't able to. I didn't travel to any away games, so I was able to dress up, which is good.
Okay. So were you able to, because I know a lot of times in athletes I've talked to from the high school to college and even some of the pro guys, they have told me being able to sit back either because of injury or in the case of like you with redshirting, you
Hmm.
see the game from a different angle, watching it from the sidelines or from the booth rather
Yep.
than when you're playing the game. And they felt like they became much better because of that, because they saw things they weren't used to.
Mhm.
You feel like redshirting, you were able to see the game from a different set of, a different pair of eyes, I guess.
Definitely. I don't know if the red shirt helped with that, but definitely, throughout the years in practice, years, but months in practice we had and the games, I was able, because in practice the quarterbacks are always right behind. Everyone's off the field during team time, and we're right behind the quarterback. Getting the reps, taking mental reps like we did back. We did this in Southington, but you know, as soon as the ball snaps, you're just dropping back with them, like looking at the reads and making sure like you're making the right read as the quarterback would that's on the field. So we're always getting reps. We're always in meetings, learning the playbook. So it's a constant full circle. So
With you now going into year two, but still a freshman because of the red shirts we spoke about for quite a bit here. And I
mhm.
appreciate you coming on, Brady. A lot of fun being able to have this conversation. Do you feel like now, not to say the game is easy. Football's not easy in college. It's not easy in high school. It's not easy in general. It's difficult. Like you said, the plays. Do you feel like though going into year two that the game could slow down a little bit, like you said, as far as the playbook, a better understanding?
Oh, 100%. Because I felt a huge difference from a fall camp to spring ball this past spring. Like being able to sit in the pocket, make the reads, and make the throw. I was able to do a lot better. And towards the end of spring ball, I was pretty comfortable in the with the playbook we had. But of course, we didn't use all of our plays during spring. So during fall, there's new plays we're gonna put in. So you just constantly staying on top of that is gonna help out. But yeah, I definitely felt a difference being more comfortable in the pocket.
During the summertime is usually when a lot of work can be done, both in the weight room, to
Mhm.
try to help the body, try to keep it healthy throughout the duration of a season, but also other things as well, especially for you, like we talked about, being able to know the plays, being able to have a better understanding of you, the psychological side. That
Mhm.
everything's not going to be perfect. Was there
Yeah.
anything in particular that you wanted to work on? Maybe, if there was a chart, 1A, 1B, 1C, what was the 1A?
The things I needed to work on this off season,
Correct.
definitely the playbook. That's it's not that hard of a playbook, but definitely a playbook that you need to study and know like the back of your hand. I'm pretty definitely. I feel like I'm prepared coming from a school like Southington where we ran a very advanced offense. So I was able to pick up quick on the hand signals we have from the sideline, which I feel like most players took a little bit longer to adjust to because they were doing the risk coaches, all throughout their life. So I definitely appreciate it for the opportunities I got at Southington to prepare me for this. But yeah, other than that, yeah, pretty good. But then my second one would be probably just arm strength. I've been working out with my quarterback coach all summer too, Def QB coach, like every week. Been with him, just working on sharpening up my mechanics and footwork for the camp. So, and then probably my third was physical strength as well. I hurt my not tore, but I sprained my I had a high MCL sprain during camp, not camp, spring ball. So it took me a little bit longer to recover from it this summer. So I felt like I didn't want to be behind. I was already behind the eight ball already, just recovering from that. So I wanted to make sure I was conditioned and strong enough to be in a good spot come camp.
And are you fully healthy from the sprained MCL?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fully cleared just a couple of weeks ago. So, but I've been working before that too, just weightlifting, but not as the full strength as just make sure I'm healthy.
And that's good to hear because as a quarterback too, you need to be able to have your legs and you utilize
Yeah,
your legs in a good way athletically to try to evade, the pass rushers and such.
yeah.
Since you've been with the deaf quarterback coach, is there any high school quarterback that has kind of impressed you if they've been around that you've been, during your times when you were there?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of guys that come out to work all every week that are good athletes. I feel. What's it? One of my guys, Tanner Leo, he's going to JUCO school right now. I couldn't tell you it off the top of my head, but he's a good athlete. Been working a lot. a lot of college guys I'm with too, like Kyle Zajac from CCSU and Jakari Grant. He was at URI, but he transferred to Mount Union and down in Virginia. But those guys are dogs, like working every week. Great guys to be around too. So
Yeah, Jakari Grants, and he's from Windsor too, and he was on
yeah.
those Windsor teams. And you
Mm,
talk about producing football talent. Southington and Windsor, I think, are amongst the top with the Greenwiches of the world. And so,
definitely.
I mean, I could go on and on and on. But
Definitely with Darren Bryden too. I forgot to
yeah,
mention him. He's one of the best quarterbacks I feel to come out of Southington too. But he's putting Bloomfield on the map too, and he's doing great at Stony Brook now as well.
now, I know I asked you as far as if there was any high school kids that were jumping out. I know you said there wasn't anybody in particular, but if you could dig deep, because as someone who's broadcasting for another season on the radio for football and seeing all this talent, I'm just curious. Is there any particular young quarterback that really kind of is like, wow, this kid's doing this at this age? That's pretty impressive. Anybody in particular?
I haven't checked him out in a little bit, but CJ Benedetto from Southington, he's a upcoming junior for Southington. He should be good. I remember working with him throughout practice when I was a senior. He was a great athlete. He should. I mean, I haven't checked in, but last I checked, he was really good, and he's playing baseball too. He's doing that really well. So
Mhm.
Southington should be good this year again. And I know we got a few athletes like Lincoln Cardillo and Cam Bedoyan on that roster. John Flynn as well. There's a lot of good guys to throw the ball to, so should be good.
Yeah, if I recall, I think CJ throws like in the mid 80s, if not maybe
Yeah,
higher, I think, right?
in that on Twitter. He's a great two-sport athlete.
Yeah, and I'm sure Drury loves that because he
Yeah,
likes to have his 2, 3 way kind of guys to be able to play
definitely,
multiple sports.
definitely.
Brady, I appreciate you coming on here. It's a lot of fun and being able to catch up with you and see how you're doing. Before I let you go, now the CIAC has officially, they did this a couple months ago, there are
Mm,
6 state champions. There'll be double L, double M, and double S. And with having that, there's been a lot on both sides. I've seen media say stuff, I've seen coaches and players. I like to hear everything. My opinion doesn't matter. But again, I like to ask people, what do you, I know you're not a part of it anymore, but
mm,
Southington's is always competitive. They're always somehow, I shouldn't say somehow, they're always there as far as competing for a playoff
mm.
spot and more. What are your thoughts as far as having 6 state champions?
Hopefully, it gives kids a chance to compete, all around a more even level. There won't be too many blowouts. Hopefully, hopefully everyone's, evenly placed in the division. But it's tough. It's tough. Let's say there won't be, you won't know who's defined the best player, the best team, out of each state championship. But it's better that they're giving more opportunities to play. I feel like that's another good big thing. I feel like they were trying to do.
No, I did also see too that there is a rule change where now the quarterbacks have to intentionally throw an incomplete pass. They cannot just throw it away because they changed the rule where intentional
Yeah.
grounding. So
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like, and I again, I'm not saying that quarterbacks practice, okay, practice throwing the ball incomplete so it's not
Yeah.
intentional grounding. And again, because you're a quarterback, I was just thinking, oh, let me ask, Brady here. Do you feel like that will be a huge effect on the high school quarterbacks this year, that rule change?
If they're smart enough to, a lot of high school quarterbacks, don't really throw the ball away, which, but I, I definitely do think it will be a little bit of a disadvantage for the offense, just, not being able to throw the ball out wherever you need to. But, I think it gives it, another competitive advantage, just to make the game more competitive, I feel like. But I don't feel it affecting the quarterbacks too much. If they're rolling out and they see a receiver, just get in, within like whatever the radius, 10-yard radius of it is. But it shouldn't affect them too much, I feel like.
Now, Brady, before I let you go, any words for the Southington football team this coming season? Because a couple weeks, camp opens up, and first games are, I think, the first week of September. Any thoughts?
Just get a chip, guys. Just work hard this season, practice hard, and, win a chip.
Brady, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. A lot of fun, and best of luck this season with UNH. And hopefully, I told you before, and I'll keep saying it, you're going to do great things. Just keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. That wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm on our journey to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.